Yeah, good morning, everybody. Yeah, it's a nice breezy morning here in Puna. Yeah, you can probably hear it in the microphone. Well, as I said previously in some other videos, I was going to go ahead and report on local restaurants when we decided to go out to eat. Yep, I have to leave Gracie here at home. She's not allowed in the restaurants. Yesterday I was feeling mighty bored with everything that I cook. Yeah, you do this 3 times a day, every day of the year. It can get a little tiring sometimes. Anyway, so I said, man, I got to do something about this. And so I asked Ellen, you got any restaurants you'd like to go to? I'm tired of cooking. And she says, oh, that's always a hard question, Well, she actually did say, why don't we go try some Indian food, East Indian? And oh yeah, all right. Hey, maybe I'll call up the neighbors, see if they want to go. I don't feel like driving into Hilo. So I called up Gary and Kahoa, and well, it turned out Kahoa wasn't working that evening, and neither of them had eaten in the Indian restaurant we have here in Hilo. The restaurant's name is Kamana Kitchen. Kamana Kitchen. The name sounds more Hawaiian than it sounds Indian, but it's a East Indian restaurant in Hawaii. Now, before I go any further with that, having lived in the East Bay area of California, the San Francisco Bay area of California, because of the Silicon Valley digital technology thing going on out there, there were green cards issued to enormous numbers of East Indians who had mathematics backgrounds and engineering skills who came to the Bay Area to work with these projects for people like Google and, and all this. Well, due to the fact East Indian cuisine became quite common in the East Bay area before I moved away. We had quite a few Indian restaurants. So I have a fair experience with it. It is in general not my favorite food. Okay. I have found that for me, personally, I like the appetizer portion and the dessert portion of Indian food better than I like the entree center, the curries and all that, Now, mostly because a lot of the appetizers and the desserts are very distinct in their flavors. They really are. They're sparkling presentations there, but when it comes to the curry, man, unless the people cooking are really skilled, in my opinion, a lot of it to me just all tastes kind of muddy. Yeah, it's not a lot of differentiation for me. It's a tremendous amount of seasonings in the food, and it's pretty much all the same. Well, it's not really true, right? So don't diss me for that one, but it's just my opinion. I have not run across a lot of really, really good Indian restaurants. I used to frequent the ones in the East Bay that had buffet. Yeah, because at the buffet I was able to say, okay, I could try this, try that, and I like this one, but I don't like that one, and so forth. And kind of adjust what I had on my plate, so I was happy. Sometimes ordering off the menu, I'm not highly skilled in identifying Indian cuisine. I'm pretty good at it. I know what masala is. I know what tikka means. I know what tandoori means, and so on. So I have, a basic understanding of a lot of these things, and I've tried most of it, but it's usually few and far between trips to Indian restaurants, and I often forget, what did I eat last time that I liked? I can't remember. Well, so turned out neighbors were into the idea. Gary was willing to drive. We took off, went downtown and into Hilo, and Kamana Kitchen. It's on Kilauea. Yeah, it's on Kilauea, in the same shopping center over there with the Island Naturals. So it's easy to find. It's tucked back a little bit. The sign is out front, but the restaurant's inside the shopping center a little bit. The service was good. I'd give it easily a 3 or a 4 on the service. They were congenial and so on. Now, one of the ladies who actually, it might be one of the owners, I don't know who she is, but one of the ladies who did serving, her English was quite unintelligible. Yeah, with the 2 guys that waited on us, they were easy to understand, but the lady who brought the food was the problem. I'll get to that because I gave up. In some cases, I asked her twice what she had said, and I wasn't going to ask her a 3rd time. I just said, "Oh, forget it, whatever, Anyhow, so Gary and Kahoa had never had Indian food. Ellen and I have a long standing with it, but Ellen also forgets what she likes on the menus and so on. And so before we even went out, I looked over their menu on the web and saw that they did have some tikka plates, where they have various different types of things in a combination. And they had one that was vegetarian. I looked it over and I said, "Oh yeah, she'll eat almost all of this." And so when we got to the restaurant, I recommended to Ellen that she ordered the vegetarian plate. It's like a royal platter, I think they call it. It was a substantial amount of food. So just for pricing, the vegetarian version on this, which was too much food for us, was like $21, and the meat version, which I had, was like $24, I think. But I mean, it's complete. It had everything right on down to the rice and the naan, and the salad and the pickles. It was a full spread. And several different types of entrees. It was chicken masala there, and there was some lamb curry on it, and the rice pudding came with it, with the cardamom seeds in it. So now Gary and Kahoa, as I said, had never eaten Indian food, and so it's always a problem, but I suggested to Kahoa that he try the mixed grill. They had this tandoori stuff that was grilled lamb kebabs and tandoori chicken, and there was even barbecued shrimps on there and a bunch of stuff. It was a nice plate. It was big, and again, it was a little bit over $20. I think it was $22 for that grill plate, but it was pretty complete. They came with the rice and the naan. You had one whole heck of a lot of grilled meat. It went home with them. There was so much of it. So, the price was not particularly cheap, but quality was very good, and the quantity was more than I might have expected. Okay, it's typical Hawaiian Hilo size portions. It was pretty big. Well, Gary's, spent all his time down there in Louisiana, just can't get himself away from them shrimps. So he had a shrimp curry. I guess it was pretty good. He expected it to probably be spicier, but I was happy with it. And then he ordered some garlic naan, which was very good, although probably my greatest complaint with the restaurant and the entire night, other than unintelligible English, was some of the naan. When they cooked it, they'd ended up with flecks of charcoal from their oven on the back of the naan that I had to pick off. Now that wasn't good. Most of it was fine, but there were a few pieces that had this on it. The naan in general was excellent, but there was a little carbon on some of it that wasn't appealing. Probably the worst thing I got to say about the whole experience, all right? And there was so much naan that we never finished it all. They took it home with them. Hey, Greasy. My kitty. Yeah, so the plates that Ellen and I had chosen, they were very much, as I say, a complete meal. We had some salad, the appetizer. There was the samosas, right, and the pakoras. There was a salad and a chutney. It was a tamarind, and then There was also the cilantro and chili type chutney to dip things in. Pretty typical. Everything was really pretty typical. The pakoras were better than usual. A lot of times they're like kind of greasy, you know. These were pretty good. They really were. The samosa was also good, although the samosa was a lot spicier than I was used to. I mean, I eat spicy food. It was no problem, but it was a surprise. Those are usually more you dip them in the sauce to get the flavor. That's my experience. But these were spiced up good. Yeah. Well, and therein, at least the problem is that the lady brought the food out, and so Ellen and I had almost identical meals, except one was vegetarian, one was not. And she kept trying to tell me which one was which when she brought the appetizer salad. And I said, "What did you say?" And she said it again. And I wasn't going to ask the third time. I just said, okay, put it down. And so I started exploring it. Well, you know, maybe I started wrong because I started on the pakoras. And, of course, that's a fried bunch of stuff. I honestly couldn't tell whether I had the vegetarian one or not till Ellen bit into hers and says, oh, there's chicken in here. Yeah, they got reversed. It was not a big deal. Ellen will eat chicken, too. So we just left it as such. We got the entrees straightened out. That was easier to tell. It wasn't as easy on the appetizer plate. So a good time really was had by all. Untranslatable language and flecks of carbon on the naan. Probably the worst things that happened the whole night. So in general, I'm happy with it. I as most people on Yelp and the rating services around here, give the place a 4 out of 5. I'd give it a 4 too. It was better quality Indian food than I'm used to in a lot of places in the East Bay in California, where it's so abundant. Yeah, there was more distinction in the food. It was good. I don't know where they get their chickens from, if they're rounding them up on the roadside, but the chicken was not particularly tender. I kind of think somebody's raising them. It seemed like range chicken, but it was, you know, it was fine. It was fine, but it did not seem like it came from Foster Farms. I'll tell you that much. All right. Hang loose, aloha, and the next time you get a taste for curry and you're tired of Thai, try Kamana Kitchen.